This man over here in front of us is insufferable. This dude is currently debating Tom Homan, the border czar, you know, Trump's big border guy, the wall, about an individual named Abrego Garcia. And it's currently getting pretty hairy. Now, for those of you that don't know much about Abrego Garcia, this is an MS-13 gang member that was deported from the United States, because fuck that guy. And he was put in a jail in El Salvador, where he belongs. He is from El Salvador. Get him the fuck out of the country. Hot take. But before we actually look into the debate between the CNN reporter and Trump's border czar, I think it's important to get the details right now on what's actually going on with this Abrego Garcia guy, because there are Democrat senators that literally flew to El Salvador to drink with this Abrego and talk about how they really want to get Abrego back into the country. They literally made this man a martyr, a fucking hero of the Democratic Party. George Floyd too, the Floydening. This man Floyded a little bit too close to the sun, and he is currently going to be in a jail in El Salvador, probably for the rest of his life, and it's going to be awesome. So anyway, let's see what we got. It's going to be huge. This guy over here, Don't Walk Run Productions, is making a video right now, literally the entire breakdown of all the retarded shit people are saying about let me remind you, terrorist.
This is Caitlyn Abrego Garcia.
He is known for being a terrorist and also beating up his wife, allegedly. Cool stuff like that.
An undocumented immigrant who had been living illegally in the United States since 2012.
All right, so they should have already gotten rid of him since 2012. And apparently he was arrested multiple times, and they kept letting him go because the Democratic Party is run by bitches and losers. Bukele's not letting his ass go. No, Bukele's not letting his ass go. Dude, so Bukele is the president of El Salvador. He made a crazy fucking tweet. So this is awesome. Caitlyn Abrego Garcia, miraculously risen from the death camps, quote unquote, and the torture, quote unquote, now sipping margaritas with Senator Van Hollen in the tropical paradise of El Salvador. This over here is a senator, a Democrat senator of the United States that is meeting a terrorist. Look at his hands, by the way, in case you're curious. Bro actually does have the gang signs, like unironically. Bro does have the fucking gang signs. But no one cares about that. He has literally met up with this guy to drink margaritas with him. This is a terrorist, by the way. And he flew to meet him because he is the new martyr of the left. And Bukele made the craziest tweet of all time. Now that he's confirmed healthy, he gets the honor of staying in El Salvador custody. That's a crazy tweet. Oh my god, he's so based. Oh god, President of El Salvador is truly fucking awesome for this one. I'm not gonna lie, that's insane. Congratulations, he is now healthy. He stays in jail. Anyway, so I wanted to look at the absolute downfall that is the Democrats literally jumping over each other to suck the schmeat of this absolute degenerate piece of shit.
According to the DOJ, he was arrested in 2019 alongside two known active members of MS-13.
All right.
Both an immigration court and an immigration appellate board found that Caitlyn Abrego Garcia was a member of MS-13. Yet he was allowed to stay in the United States for several more years because of course he was. He was put in...
Yeah, in my opinion, if you're an illegal immigrant, then you should be deported. But Nux, I can't believe it. I can't believe you would say that. But you're an illegal immigrant. I don't understand. You shouldn't go to jail. You should just go back home. America's not your country. There is an immigration process in America, and you should follow that immigration process, or you should leave. It's illegal to be in the country illegally. If someone entered your house illegally, you'd want them out of your house. This is the same shit. Not being racist here, not trying to make this a race thing. I don't care what race, color, creed you are. I don't care how many genders you have. Get the fuck out of the country if you're not legally in the country.
Withholding of removal status, which means that he should and would be deported, just not to El Salvador. This is because Abrego Garcia and his lawyers argued that he was afraid for his well-being because of the gangs that were supposedly going to target him. But nearly 6 years later, on March 15th, 2025, the Trump administration deported
a Maryland man, Harry Potter and the Maryland father,
Abrego Garcia to El Salvador anyway. U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement officials admitted in a court filing to an administrative error in deporting him.
A Maryland man was sent to
I love everyone in CNN jumped on this. There was an error in deporting him. Oh, but he's a terrorist and you made him a martyr. Honestly, This could just be another classic, like, Trump 4D chess move, where they claimed it was an error deporting him just so that all of the Democrats could collectively get together to suck the schmeat of a terrorist. Oh my God, dude.
El Salvadorian mega prison, all because of administrative error.
No, it's not all because of an administrative error. It's because he's a terrorist. What is going on?
A man thought to be wrongly deported.
A mistakenly deported Maryland man,
Dude, everyone jumped on this. See, I'm telling you, this could be like a giant 4D chess move. I think Trump at this point should admit it. He should go up and be like, I played you all. You're all retards. You're all idiots. We deported him because we wanted you to defend him. All the Democrats are defending terrorists. You played into my sweaty orange hand.
Garcia.
Of a Maryland man wrongfully deported.
Maryland man thought to be wrongly deported.
A Maryland man who was mistakenly deported to a prison in El Salvador.
A Maryland man who was mistakenly deported.
Maryland man who was wrongly deported.
Kilmar Abrego Garcia, the Maryland man mistakenly deported to El Salvador.
That Maryland man.
Like, they realize that they're going to be in a cringe compilation for this shit? Maryland man sounds like a cryptid.
Detained. Kilmar Abrego Garcia, the Maryland man mistakenly deported to a prison in El Salvador.
He was mistakenly sent to that prison.
They're not even trying to bring back a Maryland man who was mistakenly.
I love how they keep calling him Maryland man because he's not a fucking citizen of the United States. You can't call him an American. He's not even legally in Maryland. He's an illegal person in the country, part of a terrorist organization.
Deported to El Salvador.
Because the ultimate reality is that under the current Trump administration, Kilmar Abrego Garcia was going to be deported because A, the courts found that he was in fact an MS-13 member, and B, MS-13 is now designated as a terror organization.
Yeah, so he was deported for the right reasons. There was an error in the deporting of him. Yeah, true. But he was deported for all the right reasons.
And now that Abrego Garcia has been deported to El Salvador, he is in CCOP prison, along with tens of thousands of other street gang members from El Salvador.
Oh well.
I mean, was El Salvador just...
Oh well, I love how I get so many people in my chat doing this to me. But Nux, you have no empathy for these people that are going to be in super prisons. Skill issue, don't be a terrorist next time.
Supposed to let him back out on the street? Of course not. But instead of accurately describing who Kilmar Garcia is, the media had other plans.
Yeah!
Kilmar Abrego Garcia, the Maryland man.
Garcia is a Maryland man.
Maryland man. The Maryland man.
Maryland man.
Kilmar Abrego Garcia, the Maryland man.
The Maryland man.
Maryland man.
The Maryland man.
The Maryland man they shipped to El Salvador.
The Maryland man who was sent to El Salvador.
This man from Maryland who was deported to an El Salvador prison.
Only the left-wing media could call an alleged gang member living in the U.S. illegally a Maryland man.
A Maryland man, the case of a Maryland man.
A Maryland man.
Maryland man.
Maryland man.
Maryland man.
That Maryland man.
The case of the Maryland man.
Maryland man.
Abrego Garcia, that's a Maryland man.
The Maryland man.
This Maryland man.
The Maryland man.
God,
The Maryland man.
You realize every time I see one of these people saying the Maryland man that was deported wrong, every time I see one of them do it, I just have the same feeling in my mind, and I hope that you all know this too. Not only are they reading from the same script and they're basically a cult, not only is it like wildly dehumanizing that they're out here fighting for the rights of terrorists, but I'm going to tell you something that is very real. Every time you see one of these people saying this is a person that is advocating for the return of a terrorist that beat his wife. You have to put it into perspective. These are not just people reporting some sort of fake news story. These are people trying to propagandize a nation into fearing the fact that Trump is going to deport you next, and their weapon is a literal terrorist wife beater. Allegedly, in my opinion. That's what you realize. You have to realize that that's what's going on. I have not heard this outcry for the American hostage, Eden Alexander, who is still a fucking prisoner in some Gaza tunnel because Hamas terrorists kidnapped and tortured him for the last year and a half. There is zero outcry in the media for that actual American citizen. Honestly, zero sympathy. These guys are fucking retards.
He had no intent of returning the Maryland man.
A wrongly deported man. Maryland man, I should say.
Maryland man, I should say. That's what the script told me to say to humanize him. I'm trying to humanize this man.
And not only is Kilmar Abrego Garcia a Maryland man, but he's also a Maryland father.
True.
Where is he? A judge asking the DOJ for
He's in a CCOP prison for terrorists.
the whereabouts of the Maryland father they mistakenly deported.
Is Kilmar Abrego Garcia an MS-13 gang member, as the government alleges?
Yes. Next question.
Or a father, a loving father, as his lawyer has talked about?
Oh! Yeah, sure. Let's trust his lawyer. Yeah, we have two options. Do you believe the Department of Justice that arrested him already twice and El Salvador, who already designated him as a member of MS-13? Or do you trust his lawyer? His lawyer that says he's a loving father that just happens to beat his wife sometimes, maybe.
The sheer lawlessness of Trump's illegal deportations and refusal to bring a Maryland father home to his family.
I love how everyone says he refuses to bring them back. Let me make this clear. Trump can't bring them back. He doesn't have that power. He is currently in an El Salvador he's a man from El Salvador in an El Salvador prison because he is a terrorist from El Salvador. Why the fuck would America be able to get this guy back? Imagine calling El Salvador and being like, hey, can you smuggle a terrorist into our country, please? And El Salvador will be like, hell yeah, dude. I was just reading my newest copy of Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Secot.
Abrego Garcia, a Maryland father.
Kilmar Armando Abrego Garcia, that's the Maryland father.
Bro's name gets longer every time. Kilmore Armando Ruiza Cortez Abrego Garcia has just been abducted.
Maryland father who had been deported.
There's this young man from Maryland, father.
But it turns out
they try so hard to humanize him, but it just makes me realize that these are all fucking lizard people.
Out that the wife of this Maryland father would allege in her own handwriting that her husband had beaten the crap out of her on a regular basis. And she would
I'm just saying, first of all, this guy is never coming back to America. All right, that's first. Second of all, if he does come back to America, his wife will die under suspicious circumstances.
Eventually filed 2 temporary protective orders against Abrego Garcia. It was then revealed by the Tennessee Star that Maryland father was detained in a 2022 traffic stop on suspicion of human trafficking.
Nice.
And Just the News reported that the Biden administration flagged Abrego Garcia as an illegal alien suspected of human smuggling.
I'm so excited to watch the Caitlyn Collins debate after this. Watching CNN getting shut down by the wall is gonna be awesome.
Homeland Security.
By the way, let me just say this. Everyone fighting for racism. I have not seen a single Latino actually upset about this, aside from AOC, but that's okay, because she's a retard Latino. She's special. She's a Latinx. That's a whole ass other breed. All right? Everyone that's upset are like woke white people that are trying to get some sort of political leg up.
Would then release this Combined Intelligence Unit investigative referral report, where it was noted that along with Maryland Dad, there were 8 other individuals in the vehicle with him. He claimed that he was driving from Houston, Texas to Temple Hills, Maryland to bring in people to perform construction work.
Sure.
There was no luggage in the vehicle.
Sure.
And all of the passengers.
Yes, he had a truck full of illegal people that he was driving from one area of the country to another to work. Definitely not illegal.
Gave the same home address as Abrego Garcia's home address.
Oh, they all have the same home address. Yeah, that's definitely not trafficking illegal people into the country. Absolutely not. This is just a Maryland man beating his wife the best he can.
Nothing to see here, guys. He's just a Maryland father.
Kilmar Abrego Garcia, a Maryland father who came here at age 16.
Kilmar Abrego Garcia, a Maryland.
Kilmar Abrego Garcia, very well known for being a Maryland father fighting lung cancer and brain cancer. He had all sorts of cancers. He was very known for being a member of the community, the church. They loved him. He feeds homeless people on his Sundays off, rapes them, and then feeds them again. He's cool like that. We love that he does that, allegedly.
Maryland father.
Mistakenly deported father.
I love how Maryland man didn't work and didn't move the people. Let me just remind you, this is going to shock you. The reason why this didn't move the people is because the people are retarded. They actually recognize the fact that, he's a terrorist. Because no normal human being would be on this side of history.
The Maryland father mistakenly deported.
The Maryland father who was wrongfully deported.
Kilmar Abrego Garcia, the Maryland father.
The father of 3 deported to a mega prison in El Salvador.
Father from Maryland.
Maryland father.
This Maryland father who was wrongly deported.
Kilmar Abrego Garcia, the Maryland dad.
The Maryland father mistakenly deported.
The Maryland father.
This Maryland father.
That Maryland.
Dude is not from Maryland. He's from El Salvador. He's a citizen of El Salvador. He's in prison for being a terrorist in El Salvador. What do you want?
Father.
The Maryland husband and father.
A 29-year-old father of 3.
Now, in very rare cases, someone in the media would be honest.
It's been more than 1 month since an undocumented immigrant from El Salvador was arrested in Maryland and sent to a supermax prison in his home country.
The Trump administration is asking the Supreme Court to block a judge's order to bring back a Salvadorian man it admits was mistakenly deported to a prison in his home country.
Great job, CNN's Manu Raju. Way to be objective.
Yeah.
This case involving this Maryland man.
On April 4th,
they got the call. They got the call. The call went in. The call went in and was like, yo, stop calling him an El Salvadorian when you should be calling him the Maryland father. The news isn't about telling the facts to the people. The news is about propagandizing people into thinking Trump is Hitler. Don't you know? Oh my God.
U.S. District Judge Paula Zinnes ordered the United States government to facilitate and effectuate Kilmar Abrego Garcia's return. However, on April 10th, the Supreme Court, in a 9-0 decision, only granted that the United States facilitate his return, but not effectuate it. Right?
We on the same page? I have so many retards coming to my chat. 9-0, Trump is disobeying the law. It's fascism. Help the terrorists.
That the intended scope of the term effectuate in the district court's order is, however, unclear and may exceed the district court's authority to effectuate his return.
That's up
Oh God,
to
I love this question.
El Salvador if they want to return him. That's not up to us. The Supreme Court ruled, President, that if, as El Salvador wants to return him, this is international matters, foreign affairs. If they wanted to return him, we would facilitate it, meaning provide a plane.
They did not order the administration to return him to the United States. They said that they need to.
This is like probably one of the biggest misconceptions. The amount of retards that popped into my chat to be like, 9-0, the Supreme Court ordered the facilitation, I had so many of those people. I had to deal with them for literally days now. Hey, you're supporting fascism. All right, you know what? I am supporting deporting terrorists, actually, yep.
Facilitate this return. They could have said, we order him returned, but they didn't do that. So you heard the Attorney General. She was being very careful in the Oval Office. When she was asked, would you help? She says, of course we'd provide a plane, right? Thereby facilitating whatever El Salvador is doing. The Supreme...
You gotta realize, this is an El Salvadoran terrorist that is in prison in his country where they call him a terrorist. You're a piece of shit if you think that he should return.
Court appeared to defer to the executive branch, given that this is an international matter. And you see, yes, it does look a little bit like a semantic game, but they are playing within the bounds of what the Supreme Court ruled.
So while the district court is scrambling to change the definition of the word effectuate, Senator Chris Van Hollen, a Maryland man,
oh my God, this is insane,
himself, decided to take a likely taxpayer-funded trip.
Yeah, this shit should all get audited. I really want DOGE to look into who is funding all of their private jet tours. Like Bernie Sanders and AOC spent over $200,000 on private jets to fight rich people. You can't make this up. The oligarchy is controlling the country. Anyway, I'm gonna use this taxpayer-funded $200,000 flight. Yeah, all right, nice job, bro.
To El Salvador.
Isn't Nux illegally in the United States? What the fuck are you talking? I'm an American citizen. What the fuck are you talking about? I love when people come into chat. They're all here. Oh my God, we have an epic banger. We're gonna totally get Nux on this one.
I do intend to go to El Salvador to discuss the release of this individual who is illegally detained. A Maryland man who's the father of 3 in a notorious prison in El Salvador.
Yeah, he's an El Salvadoran terrorist. He should be there. Yep, nice. Next.
It is absolutely unjust.
Yeah, next. Not true. Next.
And illegal to have this Marylander.
It's not illegal. Why do they call him a Marylander? It's because they can't call him an American, because he's not. The term Marylander is propaganda. It is unbelievable.
Detained one more day.
These people, they're all retarded. This is a guy that is from El Salvador. He is an El Salvadoran citizen. He is not an American citizen. He is from El Salvador. He is part of a terrorist organization from El Salvador. He is in prison in El Salvador by El Salvadoran authorities because he's from El Salvador and he's a terrorist. And this guy's like, this is unjust.
In a notorious prison in El Salvador. I'm here at the airport. I'm about to board my flight.
And he makes a whole ass vlog. I'm telling you, they deified this man. These people don't believe in Jesus, so they had to crucify their own fucking guy. This is insane.
For San Salvador. The goal of this mission is to let the Trump administration, to let the government of El Salvador know that we are going to keep fighting.
Yeah, it's not gonna help. It's not gonna matter. What are you talking about?
To bring Abrego Garcia. I just landed at the airport in San Salvador a little while ago. The goal of my visit is to talk to people here.
This is like I wonder who put him up to this. Like, he has like this team that is making these TikToks that's editing it with the fucking subtitles. I am telling you, man. I am telling you. First of all, it's a fake fight. No one actually cares about this. This is all virtue signaling. This is a fake ass motherfucker, and his life in politics is over. Can we stop looking at these people and thinking that they're legit? This is the most self-reporting, corrupt bullshit ever. Who's putting them up to this? I want to know who the goddamn deep state people actually are, because someone is telling these people to do this. No one is this stupid naturally. This has to be like lab-grown, lab-bred stupidity. Like, this is generational retardation. Don't get me wrong. I appreciate the content. All the Democrats jumping over each other, literally trying their absolute best to guzzle some schmuck out of this piece of shit terrorist. They are trying so hard, so unbelievably hard to give me content. And I appreciate that.
About the release of Kilmar
It's not happening.
Abrego Garcia. I told his wife and his family I would do everything possible to bring him home.
The wife filed 2 restraining orders against him for beating the fuck out of her. And he's like, I told the wife it's working. It's working, guys. The wife doesn't want him back, bro. He is home. Nux, you want to visit El Salvador? Not really.
The soldiers were ordered to prevent us from going any farther from this spot.
Yeah, it's because it's a prison.
And we're about
It's a
3
super
kilometers now from CCOT. And as you can see, they're letting other cars go by, but they stopped us because they're under orders not to allow us to proceed.
Based. Why should they allow you to proceed? It's their country.
But then, when it seemed that all hope
U.S. aid-funded, lab-grown retards. I'm telling you, bro.
was lost, a miracle happened.
All right.
The president of El Salvador, Nayib Bukele, posted images of Senator Van Hollen on X, writing that Kilmar...
This is such a good fucking move. The fact that they brought him out, they dressed him up in his regular clothes. The fact that he's sitting there, he's meeting a senator, they're drinking martinis together. Oh my god, margaritas. This is amazing. This is so good. Immigrant retards. Bro, dude, this guy is illegally Dude, this is awesome. Kilmar Abrego Garcia, miraculously risen from the death camps and torture, sipping margaritas with Van Hollen. It's over. His career is over. His career is over. You were used for this one political move, and you will never be needed again. I really feel like this is like a move by the shadow government. They fucking pushed this guy House of Cards style. They pushed him into this for this one political moment to make Trump look bad to some people in the country that are retards and NPCs, and they will never use him again.
Abrego Garcia, miraculously risen from the death camps and torture.
Hey, what's that on Abrego's arm? Is that a terrorist gang sign? That's crazy.
Now sipping margaritas with Senator Van Hollen in the tropical paradise of El Salvador. He would then post, now that Abrego
gave him a haircut right before this. They gave him a little cut, though.
Abrego Garcia has been confirmed healthy. He gets the honor of staying in El Salvador's custody. Senator Van...
Also, just in case you're curious, the senator is not an ambassador. He's not the Secretary of State. He has no authority to engage in any international diplomacy, which is kind of what he's actually doing. The irony is he's doing this for clicks. He's not actually accomplishing anything. There is nothing that he is doing now of actual value. He's not even trying to get the guy back. I'm going to go a step further and say he's not even trying to get the guy back. This is all for the clout. It's all for the virtue signal.
And Holland would then post this picture of his meeting with an MS-13 gang member and alleged human trafficker who beat the hell out of his wife.
Nice.
An image that will now be used by Republicans throughout the midterms and the 2028 election cycle.
While the Democrats were supporting terrorists, the Republicans were trying to keep them out of the country. Try winning that.
Congratulations, you played yourself.
And on that note,
that's fucking awesome. Great video from Don't Walk Run. Yeah, great video. But I wanted all the context, all the details. Now we are going to dive into this debate. Caitlyn Collins, this lovely man over here that is a CNN anchor, is about to do a gigantic debate with Tom Homan, the wall, as I call him, the Trump chief deportation person, and now we're gonna go. Ready? All right. So this is an insufferable bitch that everyone hates because he deserves to be hated.
My source tonight has spent decades working on immigration enforcement, serving as a top ICE official.
You don't hate the media enough. I didn't watch this debate yet, but I'm sure she's going to get obliterated.
President Obama, and now serving as President Trump's border czar. Tom Homan, welcome back to the show. It's great to have you. We heard from President Trump today, essentially telling reporters, talk to the lawyers when he was asked about Judge Boasberg's ruling that probable cause exists to hold officials in criminal contempt, potentially for violating his orders. Do you think that any of your colleagues have violated orders here?
No, I don't. I think we follow the judge's order. I think
Yep.
we'll let that
As we saw, the judge's order is to facilitate, not to officiate. Based.
litigate in court.
Order is never violated. Sorry, bitch. Moving on.
DOGE is fighting that in court, but I don't think we did anything wrong.
And so you're not worried about any of the conversations when it came to Judge Boasberg saying, turn the deportation flights around, and yet they continued to make their way to El Salvador?
Who the fuck cares about Judge Boasberg? Why the fuck do we give a shit about Judge Boasberg? One retard judge, Obunga appointed judge, actually gonna sit there, change anything? Why the fuck do we care? See, if Donald Trump actually wanted real power, he would retire from presidency and become a district appointed judge. Then he could really manage foreign policy.
Well, you know, I think the information shows those planes were already in the air in international water, as far as I know. So I don't think we did anything wrong. According to his written order, I think we did everything by the numbers.
And
He's playing dumb. The fact that he keeps coming back to CNN is insane.
Not ultimately worried here that anyone will be held in contempt or anything like that as they continue.
No one's going to be held in contempt.
This fact-finding investigation.
I have practiced my resting bitch face for generations. How will you stop me?
Overall on this effort.
No, I'm not concerned about it. I mean, fact find all they want. I think the evidence is clear. I think DOJ's made a strong case, and we'll let it play out in court. I mean, as I sit here today talking to you, I don't think anybody in the administration did anything wrong. I don't think we actually violated a court order.
So we have two judges here. That's Judge Boasberg's ruling that we found yesterday that the president was asked about. The other judge here, the federal judge in Maryland, Judge Zinnes, has been criticizing the government this week for what she says is doing, quote, nothing to return Garcia to the United States. Are you personally aware of any steps that have been taken to facilitate his return to the United States?
Bro, did he just fart? Did he just release a little squeaky one?
Look, I think he's a citizen of El Salvador. He's in El Salvador. He's home.
Yeah. He's home, bro. We sent him home, boys. Bro's home.
He's an illegal alien with a final order of removal. He's a MS-13 member, which is now classified as a terrorist.
Somebody's talking to her like she's a little retard, which is valid because she's a little retard.
We removed an illegal alien, MS-13 member, who has a final order removal issued by an immigration judge to his homeland.
So should I read that as to say nothing has been done to...
Bro! Should I read that as to say I'm going to now reinterpret it in the most bad faith way possible?
Bring him back to the
I'm going to make you look bad now.
United States. That's what it sounds like.
I can't speak to everybody in the administration. I can just tell you what my stance is. And I think we did the right thing. I think he's where he should be. And the order of withholding that everybody keeps talking about.
I'm so happy we have
order
people
withholding
like her.
is you said.
I'm so happy we have men like Caitlyn Collins over here in the audience, in the country. They're out there. It's really nice to have retards. Retards make me happy. Retards make me feel at home. I love retards. They're awesome.
Aside because he's a designated terrorist, which order withholding is meaningless, I believe, according to the attorneys. And look, even if he came back, people think he's going to be released and go back to... No, he's going to be detained.
Bro, even if he's back in the country, which he won't be, he's going to be in prison. What are we talking about? Dude, how does it feel to be the media pundit? She is the face of fake news bullshit propagandists.
And he's going to be removed as per the order removal.
Even if he ends up back, they're just going to deport him again.
To El Salvador, another country. So this person has an order removal. He's seen 2 different immigration judges.
This is like an actual battle of wits. Botox versus the wall.
And he's been ordered deported, and that's exactly what happened.
I'm glad you brought that up because that withholding removal order essentially said the one place he can't go is El Salvador.
What is this smile that it does? It does these weird smiles. I don't understand. I'm not gonna lie. Caitlyn Collins, she looks like fucking... Bro, I can't unsee it now. Bro, no, dude. Nah, that's fucked up. Nah, bro. That's crazy. That's not happening. Right? Like, I'm not the only one seeing this shit. That's crazy. Holy shit, man. I cannot believe this. Oh my God, I cannot. This is crazy, man. Nah, bro. Nah. Right? Like, whoa. Live action Shrek gonna go crazy.
Salvador, where he's from. He claimed that he was concerned he could be persecuted if he was returned. Why not simply have him return to the U.S., detain him, and then deport him to a third country? Wouldn't that be in accordance with the law?
It is in accordance with the law. I hate when fucking CNN people do this. She is so good at making propaganda statements in her questions. She inserts propaganda in her questions to people to make it look like she's asking a good faith question, but she's actually just trying to propagate her bullshit. Wouldn't it be in accordance with the law if this happens? It is in accordance with the law.
I think we're in accordance with the law. I'm not an attorney. I'm not DOJ fighting this case, but my opinion, in the years I spent doing this job, he is now designated a terrorist. The withholding orders is set aside. And we got to remember, the withholding order was issued years ago. Things have changed. El Salvador is one of the safest countries in the region because of the steps President Bukele take.
I don't understand. Why is she fighting so hard to get them to just get him back, to deport him to another country that's not his homeland? Why?
The gangs are no longer operating on the streets of Venezuela, in El Salvador. That's why he built that prison. So I don't think the gang danger that they once thought was there is even there anymore. So the situation has changed. It's much like temporary.
Like, a lot of people don't realize this, but the reason why, okay, a lot of people say that this was like a mistake. The mistake in the actual deportation was that he didn't want to be in El Salvador because he claimed his life was in danger there, so they were just going to deport him somewhere else. They ended up putting him back in El Salvador, based, and the gangs that were running around in El Salvador at the time that he filed that wasn't a thing. That is the case. We are living in a reality where the bad guys are putting on the clown makeup themselves.
For Texas status, the TPS, that it's only temporary. When the conditions in the country have changed, TPS can be ended and they can be removed to the country.
But why not make that argument in court? If you think that you can make the...
You want them to go to court for every single terrorist in the country? Like, do you realize how insane this sounds?
Argument that he is...
It's a foreign terrorist. They don't have to take him to court. Oh my God. They bombed the Houthis after the Houthis attacked American ships. They bombed the Houthis. But did they actually take every individual Houthi terrorist to court?
To go back to El Salvador, why not just make that argument and try to terminate that order that said that the one place he couldn't go to was the one place that he was sent to?
Look, again, I'm not litigating this case to the DOJ. I think DOJ is continuing to litigate the case, but I think we're in a good stance. I think we're in a good place. Again, I'm not an attorney. I can just speak to my experience as a guy who enforces immigration law, but I think that DOJ has a strong case, and I think we're standing by what we did was the correct thing to do.
Has the Attorney General, Pam Bondi, to your knowledge, attempted to revise that withholding removal order?
No.
I have not spoken to Pam Bondi about this.
You mentioned the Justice Department. One thing that has been on my mind as we've been covering this is President Trump was in office in 2019 when an immigration judge granted this withholding removal status to Abrego Garcia. It was the Trump Justice Department then that decided not to appeal it or fight it. Do you believe that they should have here?
Yes.
Well, the conditions of the country are different now than they were back then.
But also, yeah, first of all, yes, I think so. But second of all, it's a different world. Biden opened the fucking borders. They flooded the goddamn country with illegal immigrants.
The condition of the country is one that the withholding made sense. I mean, I wasn't familiar with the case back in the first administration, but how things could have changed since then. The condition of the country could change. The ruling could change. The facts of the case could change.
MS-13 is now considered a fucking terrorist organization. It's obviously a massively different situation.
I'm not familiar on the investigation, the removal from back in the Trump 45, but I'm sure DOJ is well aware of it, and they're litigating it as they seem appropriate.
But are they litigating it? Because what we heard from the Attorney General essentially the other day was that it's out of their hands to have him return to the United States. That it
is out of their hands. They're litigating it, but it's still out of their hands.
To the president of El Salvador.
Based.
Well, that's a question for Pam Bondi. The DOJ has their mission. I have my mission. That's a question for her.
But you are someone who's worked in immigration for decades, and you have a view here that you believe that this was the right move ultimately to have him sent here. But wouldn't the proper stance here essentially be to contest this in court, to try to terminate that order and then have him sent, and then you wouldn't be in the middle of this massive legal fight that is playing?
There's no massive legal fight. They're in court litigating this over with the DOJ. This is so, like, wildly, overly complicated for no reason because the entire Democratic Party decided they're going to support a terrorist.
Out over where the administration's, right is here and whether or not they violated a court order.
I don't think they violated court order. I think we did the right thing.
She keeps saying, I can't believe they would do that. Like, they could have done it another way instead of violating the court order. They didn't violate the court order.
And I think it's been litigated by DOJ, and I'll let them fight that out in court.
Dude, it is insane that he is keeping his cool, and you can tell that it's fucking frustrating her so much.
Or not fight out in court, but I think we did the right thing.
Dude, her degree in gender studies did not equip her for this debate.
As far as what we should do next in judicial process or litigation, I'll leave it up to DOJ. That's
also another thing that's clear. Terrorists don't get these withholding order things. It's a terrorist. Get him the fuck out. Literally. Can you believe that retards actually watch this and are like, holy shit, CNN is so right? Can you believe that there are actual NPC retards in the country that see this shit? I mean, there is a reason why the Democrats' approval rating is currently 20%. Like, we know why.
You are someone who is at the center of the immigration fight and deporting people who are here illegally. This one individual.
How is that the center of the immigration fight and all these? It's just, Caitlyn, no one asks these questions about the proper vetting of the millions of people the Biden administration pushed across the border, at least in this country, illegally. No one's concerned about the vetting then. All of a sudden now everybody wants to be concerned about the vetting of people that even be deported.
True! Wrong priorities. Literally destroyed her priorities completely. He's completely right. It is insane that everyone cares about the vetting of illegal immigrants in the country when they're being deported, but no one cares about the fact that Biden opened the borders and didn't vet any of the people that were pouring in. He's literally correct.
I mean, it seems like a one-side show, but I stand by the fact...
It's CNN! It is a one-sided show!
That I think things were done right with his case. He's an MS-13 gang member. He has a final order of removal. He is a designated terrorist, and he's back in El Salvador, his homeland. And anything beyond that, we'll let the courts settle on it.
You say everything was done right here.
Oh my God, again, oh my Lord.
And I heard Stephen Miller in the Oval Office on Monday also arguing that he was lawfully deported. But this administration has admitted in court that he was mistakenly deported, that he should not have been deported.
Look, they say that there's administrative error, but if you look at the case, if I look at the case as a non-attorney, just an enforcement officer, I think things were done right. Again, they're talking about, well, it might have been a paper error about the withholding, but if we look at the case, then he's designated terrorist, I think that withholding has been set aside. That is my opinion. But again, we'll let they fight it out.
Well, I mean, the Solicitor General, it was the third in the chain of...
This smug fucking bitch is so annoying.
Man at the DOJ has said that this was an error.
He said there was an error.
Then I'll let them deal with it. I'm giving you my opinion. I said I'm not going to get in the middle of what DOJ is arguing in court. I'm telling you, from my stance, what we've done, I believe is correct, and that's why DOJ is standing by the fact that what we did was right.
I've seen some people look at this and say they're worried that the stance of this administration when it comes to this is that if someone is deported by accident, that they have no responsibility for them once they are...
Back to fear-mongering. It always goes back to fear-mongering. Oh my God. It always returns to the same point. Yep, this was never about Abrego Garcia. They don't give a flying fuck about that guy. That guy's a terrorist. He is a pawn. He is a pawn that is currently in a super prison that they are using for their own vicious games to make everyone scared of Trump. The smug is palpable right here. She is turning this into, you might be next. You might get deported, and they will never fight to get you back. Well, my answer is always going to be skill issue. Don't be a terrorist next time. It's as easy as fuck. Not a terrorist. I'm not worried about getting deported. And if I do get deported by accident somehow, I am sure that they will get me back. You know why? Not a terrorist. No, never beat my wife. Not a terrorist. Never trafficked anybody in the country legally. All right, I'm not worried about that shit. So you could try your fear mongering, and I'm sure that there are some NPCs that are really worried about this. But this is insane.
In the custody of a foreign government. What would you say to that?
Well, they're in the custody of El Salvador. He's an El Salvador.
Foreign government. It's his government!
National. He's born in El Salvador. El Salvador has him in custody, and El Salvador decide what happened to him. I mean, again, the El Salvadoran president made it clear he's not going to release him. So again, I'm going to go back. The DOJ, they can fight this out in the courts. As I'm not a part of that. I'm not an attorney. I'm not a prosecutor. So the courts, decide what the next steps will be.
Even though it was a U.S. immigration judge who said
Lord.
the one place he can't go is El Salvador. I mean, he could have been deported literally anywhere else.
Again,
and would
we can
not be
keep
a
going
fight.
back and back, but again, that was years ago. Country conditions were different.
True.
That gang.
Again, this was a lot of people think that if they violated a court order by sending him to El Salvador. This court order was made in what, 2019 was it or something? It's a different world, and even if you'd say it is an error, oh well, it's up to El Salvador now. He's a terrorist. Why do you keep defending terrorists? Repeating your same points again and again and again, making this terrorist your new hero.
No longer exists in El Salvador. He had been designated a terrorist since that time. 2 different federal judges said he's an MS-13 member. A police department said he's an MS-13 member. ICE data shows he's an MS-13 member. El Salvador says he's an MS-13 member. As you know, MS-13 been designated terrorist. The case has the facts of the case have changed since that.
The funny thing is, it's not like Tom Homan is like a good debater. He's just like in shock that this vile lizard person is talking to him and actually telling him, like, fighting from an ethical standpoint, trying to bring a terrorist back into the country. He's like, bro, Taku says he's an MS-13 member. Asmongold says he's an MS-13 member. He's an MS-13 member.
Decision. So again, I'll leave it up to DOJ to argue that case in court, but that is where I stand, and that's my belief.
Yeah, it was 6 years ago, of course, when that happened under when Trump was in office, as I noted. In her ruling, the judge here, Judge Zinnes that I quoted of Maryland.
She is so insufferable. Oh, God.
Said, quote, no evidence before the court connects Abrego Garcia to MS-13 or any other criminal organization. You just argued yourself that you believe there is evidence of that. Why has that not been included in this? Why has the administration not made that argument, not just publicly on television, but in court?
Well, there is evidence. Like 2 different federal judges said he was MS-13.
Dude, why does the public need evidence for everything that happens in the country? I don't understand. I don't understand. There are 2 separate judges that said this happened. Everyone agrees he's not legally in the country. What does that mean, evidence? Every single time someone needs to get arrested, does the White House Twitter need to post evidence? I don't even understand. Also, the DOJ dropped evidence and documents that he is a member and a criminal. So she's also lying.
Remember?
He has it tattooed on his fucking hand, bitch.
Immigration court, that's a part of the file. You know, the file's there. And I think yesterday the administration did release police reports on the subject being an MS-13 member and being involved with MS-13 activities, and even had rank within MS-13. I think some of those reports were released yesterday.
Yeah, her teleprompter did not do a good job on that debate. Her teleprompter absolutely got shredded. That was crazy. Thank you so much for being here. Yeah, no, dude, the Democrats, they lost. They lost the plot completely. It's crazy. It's crazy to see a complete and utter deterioration of humanity on that side of the aisle. Like, the fact that they're all coming together to support terrorists instead of supporting Americans is shocking, yet somehow kind of what we're used to at this point. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you. We all appreciate you. We say he's an MS-13 gang member. The Democrats like supporting him and glazing him. I think that this is a good day for America, because America needs to realize that there are some people in politics that are not actually fighting for you. They're not fighting for your safety. They're not even fighting for this MS-13 gang member. They're fighting for their virtue signal. They're fighting for their brownie points. They're fighting in order to make it seem like they care. They're fighting to convince you that Trump bad, even in instances where Trump not bad. CNN is 100% fucked. The Democrats are 200% fucked. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate all of you. Definitely subscribe for future retards. I'll see you in the next one, gamers. Stay weird, fam. Like, subscribe, and this video was streamed live on kick.com/Nuxanor. See you there. Stay weird, fam.